Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game here on Shattered Exile between Sheik and 120. Sheik spawning as the yellow undead on the bottom left-hand side of the map, going up against 120 spawning as the teal undead on the top right. Let's go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark in the game, figure out what heroes are going to be trained and what is in store. Dreadlord first coming across from 120. Meanwhile, we're looking at a Cryptlord first coming in from Sheik. Not your typical heroes out of the gate, and this may be one of the first times in a long time at least that we are looking at a Dreadlord first going up against Cryptlord first. Dreadlord first opening things up with sleep, shutting down that rogue there. The rogue should be waking up momentarily, and that's got to feel like, well, a horrible, horrible time. You're asked to guard this place. You fall asleep uncontrollably, wake up to see all of your friends suddenly gone. All right, Rod and Necromancy, more units going to get summoned and trained up. There is an Acolyte down here. Are we going to be looking at... Essence of Blight being placed down? Kobold Taskmaster quickly getting slept there. The Kobold Geomancer, and we're going to be looking at a couple of summons. All right, so yes, 120 going to go ahead and summon up a Ziggurat there. Dreadlord gets up to level 2, picks up Vampiric Aura as that second ability over Carrion Swarm. Is that going to help keep these ghouls alive? That is the question. Meanwhile, coming across on the other side of the map, Cryptlord going with that go wide strategy, similarly having a bunch of beetles, skeletal minions, and taking down this Kobold Taskmaster as well. It looks like it will be a longer economic game as both sides opt to go for a bit of creeping. A Rogue is right there. Forest Troll, Berserker, Forest Troll, this is all going to get cleaned up. Dreadlord should be able to get to level 3 off of this creep camp here, or at least the remaining creeps get very... well, no, actually, might be close now. Rogue is at level 3. Is it going to be just a shy level 3 creep? Oh, nope. Does give enough there. Dreadlord gets to level 3. Opts to go for level 2 sleep. Okay, curious as to going for level 2 sleep. Also, no Nerubian towers, so these beetles are going to be able, and ghouls are going to be able to, well, infest this base here off to the top right. And 120 is going to be in a little bit of trouble as these beetles are here to swarm. All right, one Acolyte is down. Meanwhile, there's a battle here. Scroll of Town Portal trying to retreat back home. Sheik is, well, now back at home. Going to go ahead and heal up slowly, but there is enough beetles out here to cause problems as more and more Acolytes are going to get summoned up. All right, down here at the Expo location, not fully saturated. It's going to be quite some time before that does happen, but no gold is currently being mined as the beetles are just trying to take down these Acolytes here. Meanwhile, Dreadlord sitting at level 2, slowly regenerating hit points still. This is going to be very slow going as the Cryptlord now makes his way off to the north. All right, beetles are continuing to try and fight here. Vampiric Aura, there's a sleep on a ghoul. That ghoul not going to wake up completely surrounded by foes here in just a moment. And, well, there it goes. Wakes up and going to get cleaned up as well. All right. Dreadlord does get the experience. Last hit not by the Nerubian Tower. Ghouls are now trying to swarm at the Expo at the 3 o'clock spot. Sheik is getting near full saturation. 4 out of 5 right now. Needs to train up one more Acolyte, or does he get it? No, 2 more Acolytes. Summing up a Necropolis here. And, well, not even taking the tier 2 just quite yet. All right. Now, no Vampiric Aura, no, excuse me, Vampiric Aura, no Carrion Swarm, remember. Carrion Swarm could have worked extremely well against this go-wide army of Sheik. Instead, a level 1 sleep, level 2 sleep, level 1 Vampiric Aura, as the Dreadlord considers his options and, well, maybe some life choices as well. 4 out of 5 here. Upgrade to tier 2 underway. I'm going to summon up one more Acolyte, most likely. Nerubian Tower is piercing damage. No Spirit Towers that I see as of yet. Not even back in the main base. As the Acolytes going to this Enraged Elemental Creep Camp, be able to heal up just a bit with that Vampiric Aura. There is a sacrificial lamb for the Ritual Dagger to heal up more of these ghouls again. All right, off to the north here. Sheik trying to get to level 3 will finally get there. opening up level 2 beetles. That's really what he's been looking for quite some time. These level 2... What? Okay, wait. That doesn't look like a level 2 beetle. That looks like a level... Is that a level 1 beetle? There's the level 2 beetles. Alright, got to level 2, summoned beetles, and then, well, added another skill point into the beetles. That's not necessarily the order you want to do it. I'm sure you guys know that as well. 28 over 70 supply. One more acolyte could get added across here to try and, well, extract more gold from that expo. Meanwhile, 120 sitting at 35 supply. Only 3 out of 5 here. Necropolis not yet done. We are already upgrading to tier 2 here, so that's the reason for the delay in the gold harvesting, as the ghouls off to the north could try and clear things up with the help of this vampiric aura Dreadlord. That Dreadlord or that vampiric aura so incredibly important to try and heal up if there is, say, a bit of a problem. Forest Troll Warlord still sleeping on the job finally wakes up. We're going to look at the Forest Troll Trappers get taken down here in just a moment. There goes another Trapper here. More skeletal minions popping up out of the ground, and this will get cleaned up nicely. Are we going to see a low hit point ghoul? No, low hit point ghoul now retreating back home. There's that ritual dagger healing up those ghouls once more. Meanwhile, down to the southern side, a couple of carrion beetles ready to infest and swarm the expo at the 3 o'clock spot. Acolytes are not moving. Cryptlord is currently, well, what was currently invisible. Goblin sappers, and there goes 1, 2... Goblin sappers bombarding and taking down the 2 ziggurats, the Nerubian tower. So remember, that's a very, very expensive upgrade. Taking down both of those, and perhaps also, no, not going to supply block. No, excuse me. It was going to supply block 120 as we see a sleep go down. So Sheik sitting at 33 over 70 supply. Things currently supply blocked. More ziggurats getting added across here. There's a big impale right there. The sleep still happening. A couple of acolytes could get taken down. If they get taken out, that is a big deal, as it is just more and more gold, well, slowing down all of that gold harvesting. Well, Sheik sitting on 1,100 gold and really needs a lot more lumber, and could really be easily winning in the economic or the army size fight if he just decided to spend more of his gold. Cryptlord going to be forced to retreat back. We are looking at a Death Knight now joining in on the battle. We are going into tier 3, also getting up a slaughterhouse. Similar strategy coming across by 120. 42 over 70 supply. We are going into a Temple of the Damned by Sheik. A little bit of a tech swap. May catch 120 off guard if Sheik goes for this Temple of the Damned, gets the Necromancers out with the Obsidian statues, can really pop up an army quickly. The question will be whether or not 120 can get Destroyers out in time to devour magic and completely make the entire strategy moot. Also, it will be interesting to see how Anti-Magic Shell and Banshees work, if that is the strategy coming across here. There's a big impale. There's a carrion swarm ripping on through. That has been retrained, and well, odd to see carrion swarm. Well, we see that this Dreadlord is sitting at level 5, but did not go for level 3 carrion swarm or finally trains up that level 3 there. All right, that Dreadlord could perhaps start to blow things over quickly, try to get in some damage across some of these units. Low hit point Obsidian statue taking a little bit of damage, trying to retreat back again. Death Knight going after this Ice Revenant creep camp with a bunch of beetles. This is an extremely difficult creep camp to try and clear out, especially with the Cryptlord not being nearby. More Crypt Fiends coming over to try and reinforce. Is this going to be too much to chew on? The Ice Revenant down to 310 hit points. There's a Death Coil for a heal. One beetle getting taken down. Level 2 now on the Death Knight, picking up a Cloak of Flames, and now going to try and finish off the remainder of this creep camp here. Cryptlord now making its way off to the north. Death Knight sitting at level 2, gonna back away. Obsidian statue offering a little bit of healing support. Death Knight also with that Cloak of Flames trying to rack up more damage, but that frost armor making things a bit slow going for this Death Knight. Last Renegade Wizard will get cleaned up. Sheik is sitting at 65 over 70 supply, wondering where the majority of this army is. Some Obsidian statues, some Banshees getting trained up, but I don't see where this... Well, 2 Obsidian statues, 2 heroes, a bunch of Crypt Fiends, and perhaps, yes, there's the Lich rounding out this army. All right, gonna go ahead and pick up Orb of Corruption, most likely for that Lich, that little bit of extra bonus damage by removing armor, so incredibly important as the Death Knight now makes its way across here. A little bit more damage, a little bit more attacking. Enforcer is going to get cleaned up here on what is remaining of a 5-4-3 creep camp. Lich does show up here. What item was picked up? Ring of Protection. Are we going to see a fight go down? There goes an Impale. Could be a potential surround on the Lich. Lich is in a lot of trouble. This Death Knight is in trouble. Scroll of Healing trying to keep him alive. Are we going to see a Death Coil? Death Pack. Death Knight trying to retreat away down to 32 hit points. Looks like he takes a little bit of slow poison. Lich falls at level 1 while the Death Knight survives. And there's a Carrion Swarm trying to rip across multiple units again. All right, that Anti-Magic Shell perhaps going to try and absorb some of that damage once more. Well, Carrion Swarm definitely not going to be able to do any damage. Dreadlord's Carrion Swarm is going to be able to eat through enough. That is still the question. There's a Carrion Swarm. There's a Death Coil to try and save. And we are once more in an engagement. An Impale coming across here, picking up 120's Death Knight. Death Knight down to 67 hit points. And being unable to Death Coil Frost Nova heroes, well, really does make a difference here. Obsidian statues in the back position. They're going to be able to heal up. Sheik needs to bring it up the rear. Death Knight gets up to level 3. Does have access to level 2 Death Coil. There's some Absorb. Well, there's some Devour Magic as both sides still fighting their way through. 120 looks like he wants to get a Carrion Swarm across all of these low hit point Obsidian statues. These Obsidian statues need to go back home and get repaired. Otherwise, it is just going to feed experience off to 120's army. Sheik correctly retreats back, but if he doesn't repair these Obsidian statues, they're just going to be easy picking, as we see Anti-Magic Shell now being placed down on this low hit point Obsidian statue, so a random Carrion Swarm does not snipe it down. We can see the 12 o'clock Expo being placed down, the 11 o'clock Expo by Sheik quickly going to get cleared out here, as Sheik is now going to the bottom right-hand side of the map, perhaps to try and gain a little bit more experience and get, well, further that, or catch up in terms of that experience advantage. All right. Obsidian statue still regenerating hit points slowly. There's a Frost Nova onto that Lich right there. Ice Revenant going to go ahead and pick up a Legion of Doomhorn. Nope, there's a Scroll of Town Portal backing out again. Was the Legion of Doomhorn picked up? No, it was not. It is still right there. A little bit of experience to be had. And, well, it looks like natural regeneration from that unholy aura. Still healing up that Obsidian statue. On the bottom right here, Legion of Doomhorn going to get picked up by 120. That is going to be a big item to be sold. Not necessarily that helpful for this current undead army here, as that Lich gets to level 2. 63 supply compared to 73. 120 with the supply advantage, going to push out across the map. We can see that there is one more major expo to try and establish a little bit more of bonus experience. Level 4, nearly 2/3 of the way to level 5 here. Death Knight and the Lich wants to get to level 2. There it is. Perhaps could open up Frost Nova or Dark Ritual, depending, as we see a Carrion Swarm finding those Obsidian statues in the back. Now that Anti-Magic Shell doesn't protect nearly as much damage, that Carrion Swarm can really eat through a lot there. There's some Destroyers getting in, some Devour Magic here, some more damage getting racked up. Ghouls coming in from the side, but you remember the Ghoul Frenzy has been greatly reduced there. Are they going to be able to frenzy up on top of these Crypt Fiends nearly as much? It does not feel like it. Both sides still engaging. 55 supply compared to 73. Sheik forcing 120 to retreat, even though Sheik had the smaller army. 12 o'clock Expo, not yet fully saturated, but could get there soon. 5 minutes left of mining on the main base. And, well, the Expo's not having that much more gold behind it either. I believe about 7.5 minutes. And this game is far from being over unless someone taps out prematurely. Dreadlord wants to get some carry-on swarms on across these units. There's a carry-on swarm hitting a lot of these units again, and it is just a battle of attrition at this point. If at some point the carry-on swarms rack up enough damage against these units, there goes another obsidian statue. And yeah, that's exactly the name of the game. There goes an Impale. 120's Death Knight going to be forced to retreat back out. Meanwhile, Sheik trying to lead the charge here. A couple of low hit point ghouls getting cleaned up. Ghouls off to the side, unable to get their claws onto those Crypt Fiends. And, well, slightly less movement speed and slightly less attack speed is making a difference there. Destroyers able to devour some magic. Here we are. Here we go. Dreadlord trying to retreat back. There goes another major Impale. Cloak of Shadows being left behind. Are we going to look at another carry-on swarm to try and clean up some of these units, or perhaps hit into this backline here? There's a lot of low hit point ghouls off to the side. Could perhaps eat away at the rest of that obsidian statue's anti-magic shell and then finish things off. There goes 3 ghouls getting taken down simultaneously from one carry-on swarm right there. Dreadlord still offering a fight here as that one destroyer gets taken down. A Death Knight still fighting his way through. It looks like the Death Knight going to be forced to back around. Still seeing that level 3 of Sheik. And, well, still trying to offer a little bit of support. Level 4 now on that Death Knight. More reinforcements coming across. And we're looking at some big hits. But that Dreadlord and that carry-on swarm being able to find low hit point units in the backfield, either fragile units such as those ghouls, or the eventual wear down on that backline obsidian statue, so incredibly important. 72 supply compared to 68. Crypt Fiends, obsidian statues still marching their way down and across here. What is going to unfold? Is this Cryptlord going to get caught out in the middle of a battlefield? There's another carry-on swarm finding the obsidian statue and Impale onto the Dreadlord in that front line. Death Knight, Crypt Fiends trying to stay alive here. Both sides are fighting. Destroyer is going to be forced to retreat back. Death Quell finding the target there. And, well, both sides still ready to fight. We're going to see a carry-on swarm trying to hit the obsidian statue. It does, down to 58 hit points. And so it is a wear and tear battle of attrition onto those backline units. And that Dreadlord is becoming such a big playmaker by hitting those that backline consistently over and over. If that Dreadlord gets up to level 6, well, you will add another Summon Infernal on top of that level 3 carry-on swarm, and that is a very nasty 1-2 punch. Meanwhile, 120 perhaps going to allow this base to fall, turning this into a base race scenario. Death Knight, Dreadlord coming across here. There's a carry-on swarm ripping on through. Death Knight going to look to finish off some of these units here. Dreadlord wanting to perhaps level up quickly. There goes a couple more acolytes, and each acolyte that falls is just going to push this Dreadlord that much more closer to level 6. Also, it is now 1 base mining operations versus 2, as we're now looking at Sheik pushing into the main base here. Couple of one Nerubian tower, 1 Black Citadel offering a bit of defense. This haunted gold mine easily going to get cleaned up, and the Scroll of Town Portal just in time for the save, as we're looking at the Black Citadel constantly just getting repaired, holding steady at 1,000 hit points, as the Crypt Fiends piercing damage not enough. 86 supply compared to 66. 120 now going into high upkeep to try and come out across. There is a carry-on swarm ripping through again. The anti-magic shell protecting some of those lower hit point Crypt Fiends once more. All right, Dreadlord having, well, dual potions of mana. There's another carry-on swarm trying to finish off a Crypt Fiend. Anti-magic shell being reapplied to multiple targets again and again. The Dreadlord did not drop the Circlet of Nobility that time, so it didn't get quite as much mana as we see, well, natural regeneration and blight regeneration keeping that Crypt Fiend alive once more. All right, Dreadlord continuing to try and find a way. Is he going to be able? Nope, gets an Impale, and now this could be a bit of a problem. Going to get trapped between a rock and a hard place, and the Dreadlord falls at 5. Sheik able to trap the Dreadlord between two buildings inside 120's own base. And now, without the threat of that carry-on swarm, well, what is going to come up? Sheik able to get a couple of webs down onto 2 destroyers. That is going to be a major 10 supply loss there. And is that going to perhaps feed a bit more experience onto the undead army of Sheik? Acolytes had been resummoned and trying to haunt this gold mine here, haunting this gold mine here down to the southern spot. Gold is incredibly important as there's about 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes of mining left. Both sides fighting. Gloves of haste here. Death Knight finding a couple of Crypt Fiend. There's a Frost Nova taking more units down. 71 supply compared to 71. We are neck and neck in this fight. No real person ahead just quite yet. Dreadlord gonna head off to the north here, perhaps try and take down a couple of these other units, as 120 really wants to maintain and establish up this expo off to the north. Both sides still fighting through. 71 supply compared to 74. We are neck and neck in this game. It may come down to who gets to level 6 first on their primary hero. All right, picking up a Tome of Strength, little bit of bonus experience for the Death Knight and the Lich of 120. Meanwhile, Sheik making his way down. Level 4 Death Knight, level 3 Lich, perhaps could get to level 4. Does have some anti-magic shell, but needs to apply it to those obsidian statues, as those obsidian statues are a high priority target and well within range of that carry-on swarm. All right, going after more units again and again. Triple obsidian statues trying to hold this army together. Dreadlord comes across. There's a carry-on swarm. And, well, one Acolyte down. Another Acolyte could get taken down. There's a Frost Nova finishing off. And there goes level 6. 120 gets to level 6 on the Dreadlord. Stops the mining at the Expo. And now going after the Spirit Tower. Spirit Tower going to get taken down. Nerubian Tower could follow next. Is the Dreadlord going to summon up an Infernal? No, just a carry-on swarm. And that's going to give a love tap straight to that obsidian statue. Could summon an Infernal across right here. Not quite sure why he isn't doing that. There's the Infernal summon. And, well, that Infernal summon, Dreadlord could be in trouble. He's trying to back away, trying to somehow stay alive. Where is that Infernal? Infernal currently trying to beat up on everything else, as 120 may have overcommitted with the Dreadlord. Dreadlord falls. That's going to give level 4 to the Lich here. And the Death Knight nearly at level 5 for Sheik. Sheik still fighting his way through. Infernal is, well, getting some Death Coils, it appears, to try and stay alive a little while longer. Sheik does have anti-magic shell. Death Knight of 120 forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal to retreat back out. And that is going to be gone. But the Lich of Sheik falls as well. 71 supply compared to 50. 120 with a major, cache of gold, as he also established up this bottom right-hand side. This has been mining for about a minute and a half. Actually, no, over 2.5 minutes. I take it back. So that is a large amount of gold to be had here on Shattered Exile. Main bases mined out. It looks like Sheik is trying to play a game of economic catch-up. This expo here has about, 45 seconds of mining left. Then it will be up to the top and the bottom as Acolytes are, making that trek off to the north. 25 minutes into this game, Sheik's army, perhaps if he can catch these Acolytes before the Acolytes return back too much gold, that will be enough. Meanwhile, we're looking at an army coming across here trying to stop mining at that 9 o'clock position. 120 trying to shut things down here without the Dreadlord. Dreadlord getting resurrected the old-fashioned way. Meanwhile, Sheik is coming across, pushing strongly with the Lich and the Lich and the Cryptlord. Cryptlord does now have Locust Swarm, and with that Locust Swarm could perhaps just finish off a large amount of units, now trying to clean up this northern spot as well. This is turning into a base race scenario. However, base racing with undead, when you have army of heroes, magic damage and piercing damage, difficult to take down buildings. Both sides suffering from the same problem, it appears, as the Altar of Darkness quickly going to cancel the resurrection of the Dreadlord. Dreadlord says, you know what, I need to join up on the battle, pick up a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and move on out. Black Citadel going to be coming to an end here, acolytes, or excuse me, a couple of other buildings gonna fall. What is happening? This bottom right-hand side, one ghoul left behind here to try and clean up these acolytes here, as we're looking at some beetles infesting off at that 12 o'clock spot. Scroll of Town Portal gonna try and, well, teleport back home. Are we gonna see any sort of damage, sleep, Carrion Swarm? There goes a Carrion Swarm right there. 13 more seconds until another Infernal can be summoned down. Does have a potion of lesser invulnerability. There goes a Frost Nova. There's Locust Swarm. Well, adding in a little bit of extra bonus damage. Cryptlord also having anti-magic shell, gonna be able to avoid some of that damage there. A Crypt Fiend gonna get taken down. The stun did go across here as the Death Knight, having to retreat back. Is he going to be in problem? He's trying to retreat back here, though. Infernal could easily put in pressure. There's another Carrion Swarm right there. There's a Death Coil trying to save. Sheik going to lose a Crypt Fiend. 40 supply compared to 61. Both sides still fighting. Sheik down to 87 hit points on the Cryptlord, but still somehow stays alive. The Locust Swarm has come to an end and no longer going to be able to heal as the game does end. Sheik leaving the game 120, outlasting his opponent, holding on to a 25 supply lead in the final battle. Dreadlord beating the Cryptlord here on Shattered Exile. Here are the final scores.